is the volume like of tweets coming out of Cleveland?
So we're seeing millions of tweets a night about these speeches, every night with its own peak moment. Sometimes the headline speaker, sometimes not. For example, Wednesday night, that Ted Cruz speech really drove the most conversation, particularly toward the end when the crowd booed him and Donald Trump entered the hall.
So what are you doing this week to monitor how it's being used, and what is your reporting, and what does the reporting matter really in the end?
Well, with conventions, there's always highs and lows. These are events that people gather on the couch and watch on TV, they watch on C-SPAN, and we're able to measure in real time those moments. People are turning to the person next to them and saying, did you see that? Did you hear that? We're able to see live what moments people are talking about. What are those lines and speeches, those speakers that are driving the conversation and driving the reaction. So by the end of the night, we already know what's going to be the water cooler the next morning.
This is also the first convention with Periscope, one of the streaming media services socially, Facebook, also YouTube, but Periscope's getting a lot of attention. We're seeing delegates at events when media aren't covering things, sending it out by Periscope. What's the impact going to be with so many people reporting live from different political events?
You know, the founder of Periscope once referred to it as a teleportation device, the ability to just be anywhere. And at this convention, with hundreds of delegates and media live streaming from the devices in their hands, you know, C-SPAN is great. But if you want to have a more intimate experience, viewing this convention through the eyes of a delegate in their seat, you could do that for the first time now on Periscope.
On the other hand, cacophony of information coming out. How does the average voter, interested person sort all this out?
Well, that's where C-SPAN's helpful. And in fact, when Democratic members of Congress used Periscope on the House floor for that sit-in a few weeks ago, it was actually C-SPAN that helped pick those best streams and present it to their audiences. Here, if you go on Twitter, we'll actually be surfacing some of those best streams, and in the Periscope app itself, there's a whole channel just of the best Periscopes from the floor and around this arena.
As a candidate, Donald Trump has been, it seems, tweeter-in-chief. What has been the effect of that overall and other politicians turning to Twitter?
I think you're seeing many more politicians discover what Donald Trump has discovered, and that is when you bring an authentic voice, when you're tweeting yourself and making yourself accessible in that way, you have more success. People retweet you more, they engage with you more, and at the end of the day, it means the message travels further. And that's the ultimate objective for any candidate or speaker at this convention.
Last question I want to ask you is a behind-the-scenes question. There are probably 10 media to every delegate at this convention. Twitter actually has some lounges for the media set up. What are you doing with those? What's the service, and how are people using them?
So we have two.
And that's Adam Sharp, an alum of the C-SPAN networks, and a little bit of interference from our signal, but thanks very much, Susan Swain, for that. By the way, you can follow us at C-SPAN, and be sure to like us at Facebook. Let's take a look at the schedule this evening as the gavel comes down in just a couple of minutes. A number of members of Congress, and of course the keynote address tonight, along with First Lady Michelle Obama. Here is what we have. Congressman